And let's get our, they can expand that or shrink all of them or whatever.
Okay. I don't know why it is this. Doing that. On the speaker. Nobody speaking.
Yeah. That's all right.
Listen. Good. Galleries.
Yeah, that's all right. Things like that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, calling the meeting to order. This is the December 9th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners for Thurston County Fire Protection District 8. And our first order of business is public comments. We do have some public here. With no comments. Okay, just give me the opportunity if you have anything. If we could move right along then to the chief's report.
I had the chance to send this out last week and hopefully you all had a chance to look at it, read it. I'll be glad to answer any questions. One thing I would like to know, on our call line last month, we did have a significant problem with the CAD system where calls weren't being sent out correctly. And we actually did this call, fortunately it was covered by the city of Olympia, Boston Harbor area. They since, of course, fixed it. Hopefully it will never happen again, but it showed some of the weak spots in the system and everything. So automated error. So that was kind of a little bit of a problem. But other than that, glad to answer your question.
Yeah, I don't either.
Questions?
Good.
Okay, this is right, straightforward, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on then, talk about our IR&R status.
So goal one, we had pretty good updates in our SOPs. I know you said the final stages of some of them signed off, so a lot better here pretty quick. A lot more signed off, and the rest will roll into 26. As far as goal two, I think I did that. And that shows kind of where we're looking at. I'm going to roll on that because it's not last month. So the questions about how staffing looks, I've got to dig into it. Other than that, it's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
Where you see that one? That part.
On the back.
This one. Oh. Save the paper. Yeah.
The goal two part, of course, is still based on the 2025 projected. So
Yes, right.
take any questions if there are.
Anyone have anything?
No questions.
On that? Okay,
Okay, what is a +6 mean at the bottom?
That was the original, how many extra, the original plan was to increase for 2025, how many more staff?
Okay. And did we do that? No.
okay, ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Policies.
That's it, three draft policy, y'all, and we have looked at those, and I sent the red line version. I haven't heard anything back. I would like to have board approval for all three. The first one is 2-03, which is a minor change to our hazardous materials incident operations policy. We did a significant rewrite of the procedure on that as part of Brandon's work with his team. The second policy is on salaries and benefits, as per our update that we talked about at the previous meeting, and then the last one is the annual and sick leave policy. Okay, this is, let me answer any questions.
And the second one, the 304, that one goes along with the bargaining agreements, right? With the payroll deductions and the work schedules and,
Well, this is basically covers non-bargaining unit.
okay,
Yeah, the collective bargaining agreement will cover those folks. Bargaining unit.
okay,
This basically, some of the changes that were made did affect it, but we hadn't updated it in quite some time, so it's.
and this covers not everybody or just?
It is the non-bargaining unit career people.
Okay. Yeah, and then. And the annual sick leave, that's the same thing, for the same.
Okay.
I make the motion that we approve all three documents as they're written.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any comment, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, we're down to our expense budget for 2026 and 5-year plan and the discussion there. We have all received information that was put together by Steve Kraus. And if you would care to walk through that, present it, talk about it, answer questions about it, I would appreciate it. Okay, or is that what you're prepared to do?
You have that slide.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's okay, that's okay. Once you get that ready, I guess I should thank, Chief Van Camp again, for him being open to, opposing people. So I certainly appreciate that. Nothing that I said or put out there for you all to look at was intended in any way to be subversive or anything, but I feel it's such an important issue. It's obviously divided you all. And so I want to give it at least another look and see if a fresh perspective helps anybody. And so essentially, I think some of the differences in discussion with Chief that we have identified are, number one, that a lot of the reasons we haven't moved forward in his budget recommendation for 2026 is based on the AED assessed value being much lower than 10. And I was never clear on what that meant, so I started to do the numbers myself. And so by doing that, I was able to identify that we're approximately, think of the next slide. I'm sorry, I did want to capture the two budget values because I don't have the same documents the chief has to work with. I'm not in his business like that. I'm just looking at the stuff that's published. We did talk in the documents he's provided to you all and also to us on the side. We talked that we have the you don't want that, chief. Well, I know. Oh, sorry. But the basically what we came up with was that this value difference, this 5% decrease, has really created a lot of the issues that down the line Chief's concerned with, and I don't disagree with that. The other thing that we identified was that he's looking at the budgets of the revenue budget that we currently operate under and we have for years. And he's also looking at this excess levy, and he's generally not looking at them as two separate items, but instead one. And so that's where I think it gets a little muddy in my mind. And again, I think that I might be speaking out of turn, but I think the internal stakeholders here often felt like Prop 1 was intended to address our staffing shortage. That was a big thing that we identified.
We lobbied for it, chief did all the back end work and then presented it to you all, and it was essentially to bolster our numbers from 18 incident readiness response to 28. So we do have a number 10 kind of tied to that. The values that we asked the public for are pretty clearly identified in here too. This year we received 1.9 million. Next year will be 2 million. Each year it's $100,000 more. Until 2028, it's fully funded, and then it's gone. We need to renew it. And I want to give us the best opportunity to renew it by filling what I believe is our contract to the public and also to the internal stakeholders and pick up as many people as we reasonably can with the allotted money that requested. And so basically that's it in a nutshell. If you go to the next slide, chief, let's do this quickly. 7.24 is what we received this year, what we're currently operating under. Go to the next one, chief.
That's this year, not next year's budget.
Correct.
So how much is next year's? Oh, but
7.42.
Oh.
Based on just coming directly from chief's documents, you know, I might be off, but I apologize. I was trying to throw it together on the fly. But basically, that 7.42 next year includes $2 million that we're getting as an excess levy. And so, if you go to the next slide, chief. I separate the two, and I'm kind of requesting that you all do the same, or at least consider it. And I do that because then you can see that the base levy that the AV is really affecting is one budget, one line item budget that deals with everything the department has had managed for the whole time she's managing. This additional money that we're receiving this year and next year was in my mind intended for something different for staffing. And so I think that's really where I understand Chief and I are seeing things quite differently. And basically, can you go to the next one, Chief, please? Again, I'm just essentially talking about the same thing. You can let me get Chief. So this is where I felt like it was a bit of a light for me to understand that the revenue loss that's shaking up so much of our planning is essentially less than $300,000 if my math is correct. Yeah, Chief may say I'm way off base, but that didn't feel like enough of an offset. $300,000 in a $5.3 million budget. You know, to really derail us from our goals of hiring was my take on that. Get you, okay, so this is basically just a snapshot of what our current base budget funds. We have 18 IRR staff. Something popped up in discussions. Chief LeMay brought it to my attention. He's like, hey, we hired 6, and so I put a slide in shortly on that. We hired 6 in 2025. What are our numbers? We had lost Bonner and we had lost Yanni, and so we were down to 16 FTEs internally. And we hired several people this year, several of whom are on today.
did we lateral over like 5?
It's lateral, and also Zachary Grimaldo came in, went through SSRA last year.
Clarify your question
Yeah.
earlier. Did hire 6, did increase 6 point this way?
Yes.
We were backfilling spots.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
so this 18 was essentially already budgeted for, had been, and
Yeah.
so we had a gap. So that was basically just to get my numbers straight, so everyone on the same page. So this is basically where what our budget is composed of. 58% of our operating budget goes to our 18 career staffing, 13% for the admin, and then around 4% for all you all and the volunteers. So it's a relatively small number, but anyway, 74.6 was essentially where we're going. So my pitch on this whole thing is, could we, in our 5% loss, of $300,000 reduction in what we assumed we were going to receive in revenue, could we focus on this budget to address those shortfalls?
So,
and then keeps the.
so this budget here though is the 530, which we're existing right now, we're running off.
Yes,
Okay, so on top of that, now we're going to get 2,000, what? How much did you say the first year we get? From the,
1.9 billion.
okay, and then we get 2 million after that. So that's money that we haven't ever seen before, there's no reason why it can't be used for staff.
That's correct. Well, I should say that's correct in my mind.
Yeah,
And
okay.
again,
Well, that's how I see it also, because we have an obligation to the citizens to provide staffing. And they need it. We need to show that we can do that, because if in 2 or 3 years, we're gonna go out for another M and O levy, or we're gonna go over levy live. If we haven't established that we have at least made an attempt to fill positions and show that we're doing that, they're not gonna vote for those next ones. And so I really, what you've done here, I think is really good. It makes it easier for me to understand it. So I appreciate that, because I didn't understand that 1.4 and all that other kind of stuff. So, yeah,
well, I'm concerned about the messaging to the public as well.
Yeah.
We're taking in revenue. We requested it, we're taking it in, we're gonna receive it regardless. Question is, what are we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
And then how do we package that up and communicate that out to the public and what we're actually doing with it?
Yeah.
And so I think the way we can do that is kind of how we advertised it was, hopefully you will soon be able to tell through increased staffing that we can decrease our response times, that we can get more people to incidents so that we can have a more effective responding force. So that we can basically staff the stations that we had talked about and potentially even staff Station 82 or cover that district better. Again, you should be able to measure the success of this influx of personnel through response times. That's the metric that I would argue we should be trying to focus on. We should be pushing our people to perform and then stay in their districts and respond appropriately with the correct equipment, apparatus, etc. But again, it all goes back to priorities and how best to use the money. I know I'm taking a simplistic view of it. I understand that. I apologize, but on the other hand, it also feels like it's an opportunity for us. I hate for us to miss that, so.
I agree. You're gonna ask the public for more money in one way or another, in another year or another. We show an effort that we put forth right now to increase response and increase manpower. We have a better chance to get those excess levies approved in the future by putting them on the street, putting firefighters on the streets, run those calls. I think it's an easy ask for our public when we show an effort on our part to fulfill the needs of what they truly want. They're called 911, they expect an apparatus to show up, and I think we owe them. Not only for voting on this excess levy last year, but also with the future levies, that we're making an effort here to put butts in seats and run calls. Okay, I appreciate your number. With these numbers, Chief, have you, what is that perfect number for you for hiring for next year? Is there, I know we kind of budgeted for 5, is it looking more like 1 to 2? Is it, what do you think?
Well, like I said, it's on the Christine's slides or the phone slides, if you don't mind just clicking through a couple. So this is how we brought on 6 people, 6 new people in 2025. But for the purposes of this discussion, and the way that I'm framing these as 2 separate budget revenue processes, basically just looking at it as 4, we've hired 4 out of our 10. And then we backfilled 2 to kind of bolster our numbers back to 18 as FTEs. So if we have 4 at the moment, then if you go to the next slide, Chief, I don't know if I want to clarify. Thank you, Dr. for that. So basically, this is just showing you that this is the money that we received this year. Looking at their costs, bringing on those 4 people out of that pile of money. This was my rough napkin math. We should be essentially $1.5 million ahead. I know that we've also, because both Chief LeMay and Chief Van Camp have been open to us utilizing some of this money early in the year before we had our laterals on duty with us. We were doing a lot of overtime. a lot of our people have worked very hard, because we had 16 people trying to fill 18 slots and then more. So lots of our personnel have done a lot of overtime work, and that money, I'm assuming, was kind of absorbed from some of this, as well. But at the moment, if you just look at straight staffing and my numbers, then it's about 1.5 million that we had to.
Can it cost for, say, for just one new hire what is the cost to just one new hire person? Is it 300,000? Is it 100,000? Is it 70,000?
2026 for one new hire. For labor and benefits is 132,000.
So times that by 5, times that by 10,
So I used the rough numbers of 175,000, but you could even, on a number of 10, you can basically run them at $200,000, and you can still pull 10 people with $2 million. The money is there.
Yeah.
So those numbers are pretty straightforward. I tried to be cautious in how I frame this, because I know I'm on a different side, but basically I used 175 for the entire, for all years as a rough number. Again, we have flexibility, even if it goes up for our contract 12.5% in 3 years, that's still gonna be under $25,000. So again, it keeps us at that $200,000 per person per head, so that we know that we can pay for them with $200,000. Right. So anyway, if you don't mind, Chief, you can click to the next. And again, so this is my kind of recommendation or hope for 2026, and I know this is counter to what Chief is recommending. We do have our 4 that we're carrying over. The paperwork that Chief had previously provided us, kind of as a framework for our hire, was to pull 5 additional in 2026. And I believe we can do that still, as I say, using those higher values, still run up with a balance at the end of the year of over $400,000.
and we could also still hire another admin person.
And I put that in there at the end at an FTE rate, that's probably much higher than would be necessary.
Mhm.
And it still gives you a bit of a balance, doing the math separately.
Yes, Yeah.
So I know,
because our budget right now handles everybody that we have. And that includes the increase that they all just received. So what's left over and this extra 2 million we could have, I don't see where we couldn't hire at least 5 for sure. I mean, at least 5 for this year, this next year coming up, and then look at it from there. That's my opinion. You guys voice your own.
A couple of questions for you then. So your 175,000 is wages and benefits, basically. So these people somehow need to be supplied with equipment, uniforms, bunker gear, training, those kinds of things. So that's not accounted for at all. And would have to come out of the other budget, is what you're saying? Okay, so the other budget is reduced from what it was anticipated to be, and we want to grow the amount that we're going to spend out of that for those kinds of articles, those kinds of things, right?
yes, the answer would, yes, of course.
Okay. The other thought I have with regard to this, let's get these guys here in 2026, is the pathway that Chief LeMay has gone down based on the 5-year plan that was put together and the marching orders was that we were going to hire these 5 additional firefighters. These are going to be fresh off the street, right? Fresh off the street. And so they're going to have to attend the training class. Training class starts when? January 5th. January 5th. We don't have any people to put in that. So if they showed up
That's just one option though too. There's academies in the state that start later. And so we need to make a decision one way or another tonight. SSRA is on the table, but also Washington State Patrol Fire Training Academy is on the table. There's other avenues.
those are all equivalent essentially in what they cost to get people in?
Well, I'm not gonna bias, I wouldn't say they're equivalent, but Washington State Patrol, you're obviously sending your person across the mountains to do different.
Right, and I don't know what the cost for these is
It's under
either.
costs, yeah.
I have no idea what the cost.
So Washington State Patrol for room and board is gonna cost you about 12 grand, for the FSRA, it's gonna cost you about 24 grand. But the advantage of the SSRA is you have to divide down those costs by allocating resources to the SSRA. So last year, if you have a full-time employee that's, let's say South Bay decides to put somebody in there as an instructor, you can reduce that cost down to $3,000 per recruit. Plus you're getting professional development out of the person you put in there in a leadership role.
Okay, but that's not gonna happen unless we get somebody, a group of people in there on the 5th of January. Do we have 5 people to start on the 5th of January? I know the answer is no. Because we have people that we haven't done any background check on or. I'm sorry, background.
Psych and
Yeah.
medical, that usually takes 4
Yeah.
weeks.
We were gonna be close, we were gonna be very close, but I
So-
we stumbled.
We've.
We don't think it was that, correct? Right, can that be an expedited process, if you so request?
Try, but we don't. It doesn't likely, it would go through, like.
So we have people that are gonna be. Ride along people for, I don't know, what,
Well,
4 months, 5 months, 6 months, but we're still gonna pay them. Their salary and benefits. So we're not really getting any improvement, are we?
Salary, they're not trained. So,
Yes, they're hired as firefighters at.
the salaries there, the
Yeah.
trained.
Right, yep, yeah. So, I mean, they started the entry level.
Sure.
That's level, that's a concern,
Yeah.
back step just a little bit, so you have two different options when it comes to necessary. You can hire EMTs, and then you don't have to put it until the fire portion, that doesn't start until February 20th, so that can buy you potentially 6 weeks. If you want to hire people that don't have their EMT on the front end, you give them an EMT class on the back end. With the volunteer academy, which is done before, so there's other options that don't necessarily something that we set up.
So hiring EMT, but we didn't put out an advertisement to hire people who already had EMT. Or a firefighter, we hired people that were coming off the street. Right, so we don't have these alternate people. Even on a list that we've advertised for.
But don't we already have a training budget set aside for this? I thought there was we have a training budget, so.
We do have a training
that's what we
budget
said
for, that's established on the number of people that we have, right? I mean, we're talking about, we're gonna separate things out and we're only gonna look at how we pay people out of this bundle and everything else that we do for them. The equipment that they use, the training that they get, everything else gonna come out of this other budget. And that's why you can't separate the budgets. That's why it has to be a combined budget, it's because you've got a combined fire department and a combined mission. And the things that need to be done.
What's the mission?
Our mission statement, we provide, our best service that we can,
Are
right?
we currently doing that right now?
We are currently doing that with what we've got. Yes, I mean, if we hired 50 more firefighters, we'd do a better job, wouldn't we? Can't afford to do that. I mean,
But we can chip away at, we can start selling, we can allocate some resources to our mission statement, which means licensees for other calls.
okay.
The problem is the money is not there.
I understand.
Actually, we have 22 employees, not in the response, 22, not 18. We are total budget moving into 26 for labor only is 4.1 million, not 3.5 million. And that's a fixed cost. That does not include the training, the equipment, everything necessary for the 22 current employees that we have. It does not include the admin system. So the notion of, and Daryl and I talked about this, but the notion of segregating revenue is, I don't agree with. We've never done it before. We're not required to do so by law. We have two different sources, two different flavors, if you will, of property tax. One is our base levy that we've used for day one. And the second is a voter approved excess levy. The only reason we went out for an excess levy, as you well know, was we needed additional income to pay for additional firefighters, both career and volunteer. That money was approved, it was estimated how much 10 extra employees would cost over a 5-year period. You aren't all gonna be hired in 26 anyway. But over the 5-year period, based on assumptions of what the revenue growth would be. Those assumptions changed in September. We are not gonna get as much revenue in either way, shape, or form, whether it's excess levy or base, well, excess levy stays the same, but the base levy changed substantially. And because of that change, it will increase, that difference will increase in 27 and in 28. Problem gets worse.
So my-
If we keep spending it even at the same level, let alone an increased level with additional staff, that money goes down. If you remember the chart that we had, you go into debt. And that doesn't change.
Well, what I'm seeing is, I don't think Daryl, I feel like I'm getting from him is he just did a breakdown of, we have this and we have this. It's not that we're separating the money, it's just different ways of how you're thinking it. It's always gonna be in the same pot. It's just a matter of how you break the pot down. So,
No, that's
yeah.
not correct. That's not what he's saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're segregating the base revenue that we get from our base level property tax and the excess levy. He's addressing what money can be paid out of the excess levy.
excess, okay.
But
But it's still in one pot. I mean, no matter what, it's still there. There is funds for it.
not enough.
But even with that graph,
If we want to increase our costs, the money will diminish faster.
yes,
We looked at other ways of finding revenue. We won't make money on running an ambulance. We have a short-term loss if we, borrow or steal money from our reserve account or our capital repairs and replacement, as I demonstrated last month. That money will run out in a year or so. Then what do we do after that? We hire additional people. The analysis that we did, if you remember, was it's estimating what our current and future revenues were based on what we expect to be our future expenses. And with generally holding our own at the current number of staff that we have is the best that we can do to hold our own. And that doesn't account for inflation or other increased costs. So our year-end cash balance is what we have to work from year to year, decreases significantly. The faster we spend money, because the revenue is not, there's no other source of revenue.
So our year end for this year was 550,000, 500 million or whatever.
Pardon?
What our year end was 539.
No,
Our year-end cash
So
balance,
our year end was 530 million.
no, we're estimating about 1.6.
So you're looking at that for our year end. From that amount. With our levy and all of that, how much more are we gonna have? Our budget now goes up to what, 7 million?
No. The budget, the ending cash balance is the money that you have left over after you've received your revenues and paid your bills.
Okay.
That's money that needs to be used from January to May when we get our next big tax collection.
Okay,
So that has to be working cash.
we don't get any more money above that through 2026.
Nope. The total will be about 7.4 million.
Okay, so where did we go? How did we all of a sudden jump from 5 million to 7.4? Tell me,
the 2 million from the excess levy. Remember, it was 1.9, 2.0, 2.1 million, right?
but right now we're running our budget on 5 million, basically, 5,300,000.
No, our current budget is about close to 7 million. See, we had excess levy income this year, 1.9 million.
Remember, we had the 5-year plan that was, this came from January, was a projection, was based on a 6% growth and that kind of stuff. And it looked at 2025, it was even a projection for 2025, but was based on our property tax and then M and O levy. So there was the 1.9 in addition to the, 5,300,000. And that gets the 7 million. And then the next year, it was anticipated that our at a growth of 6%, which we scaled back from 8 or whatever, that was gonna go, our regular levy was gonna go to bring in 5.6 million, and then we have +2 that we had with the excess levy. Remember, the excess levy, those are fixed numbers, 1.9, 2, 2.1, et cetera. And yet our actual that we got in here is about 300,000 less than what we're projecting that we're gonna get in 2026. So we've already,
And that doubles in 2027.
already gone in the hole compared to the plan, right? So you gotta modify the plan.
And we're just estimating everything, because come 2027, we could have an increase of money. But you don't know that, so
But we don't know that.
you're just assuming that this is what's gonna happen, that it's always gonna be less, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's really true what's gonna happen.
Well, so
It,
the voters want us to bet on the come, that we're gonna, roll the dice and it's gonna come up and win big in 2027. I don't, I don't wanna go out to the voters with that message either, right?
Well, I think it's still better to explain it to the voters. I mean, we already voted yes for an excess levy to supply 2 engines for service. If we're gonna have to ask them for more money, whether that's gonna be in 28, 29, or 2030. And I think it behooves us to put their priorities first by taking a risk and putting out, let's say 5, maybe the 5 is not like the right way to go. I think maybe put a 2 in there. Is to put ourselves on a path to success, and the path to success to ask our public for an or an excess levy when that time comes. If we do nothing, that has a bigger impact on when it comes for us to ask them for money than if we do something.
I think we'll have a harder chance getting voter approval for anything in the future if we overspend our budget. I think that we will get greater voter approval and taxpayer appreciation if we stay within our budget. Be honest with them, that expectations have changed and we're continuing to give them the best protection that we can afford. We can't, I would not suggest we just simply add people that we can't pay for. And because there will come a point in time, we have to either lay off people or lay off people. Because the money is not there. You're right, I have no idea what the AB change will be in 2027, 28, or anytime.
Yeah.
But I think that it behooves us, we have a fiduciary responsibility to be conservative about our revenue and expenses like we've always have, and at least as long as I've been doing
every
budget.
time we've done a levy, we've got the same thing, we said we're gonna do something and we didn't do it, and then the administrative staff gets a raise. Well, that's not gonna happen. We aren't gonna hire people and administrative staff is not getting a raise. That's how I feel. Cause if we can't fulfill some of this by at least hiring 1 or 2 people, then that's just my feelings on it. It's a roll of the dice, but you know what? We've got to show to them that we can at least staff 2 stations. Get those engines out.
It's a risk, but it's a calculated risk.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where there might not be a right answer for either one of these situations. But at the end of the day, when you start applying your mission statements, what our values are, what the citizens expect, they, at least me, when I speak for my family, they expect at least 2 rigs there being staffed at 81, 83, 100%. That's not, so if somebody's out of Boston Harbor, and somebody can respond off Johnson Point. I mean, that's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
Well, we debate just so we're moving the face. too.
Yeah.
Right,
But I
well,
can see both sides of it. I mean, I truly can. To me, it's a roll of the dice. In some ways.
Well, we take a vote and
so I'll make a motion I would like to make a motion that, we adopt the, budget proposal that was put forth to us, for us by Chief Van Camp. The one that, has us stay the course and not go into debt, financial. I'm gonna move that we adopt that.
So are you doing a motion to,
That was the
motion
motion,
you need it seconded?
and then we can discuss. Is there a second?
I don't direct any more information. Financial. No, you gave us yours, and Joe's given us his, and hearing both of those, I guess maybe if I had all of them. Show me the numbers.
If you listen to some comparables, see what you get for staff.
I did do comparables, that's a different topic, but if you want to include that, sure,
I put those in two different buckets.
different topic, but I do have that.
Okay, all right, apparently no second to that, so we'll just move on. I don't know that we have a way of coming to a resolution unless we have a motion and a vote, and we don't have any motions for us, so should we move on with the agenda? We're gonna put this off another month.
Well, I think we need to make a decision. One way or another.
Hurts us more. If we keep putting it off, that's not helping. I mean, it just prolongs.
So,
I agree.
So,
They could come back to January and have the same arguments.
yeah,
So,
Okay. So what do you wanna do?
so somebody seconds it, then we can do a vote.
I'll second.
Okay, had a motion to adopt the proposal that the chief put together, and it's been seconded. Now, is there any further discussion you'd like to have, or would you just like to have a vote? Just vote on it, all right, okay. So, all in favor, say aye. Aye, and all opposed, say nay.
Okay.
Okay, motion did not carry. All right, okay, so we haven't done anything yet. So we're just gonna put this off till next month.
okay, can we include? Is there value in putting another motion to hire at least two to get this ball rolling for the 2026 calendar?
Just
Because
two,
that is
really,
also part of that initiative.
two the budget of a lot. Two, I don't.
And an admin system.
Um,
And an admin assistant, yes. Two and an admin assistant, and then all approve it.
And it's that's how much it's gonna affect, like this, and there's a. So that, one admin and two firefighters.
Yeah, that's it.
We're doing this just like they do for their contracts, we have to negotiate.
Yeah.
And if we do that, then if they're willing to do two and an admin, I'm willing to do at least a 1% increase on the admin administrative staff's salaries above their other.
I'm sorry.
I said, if they're willing to do two new hires and an admin staff, then I'm willing to give them 1% above their, what do you call it, their cost of living increase to the admin. Noise? I mean, we'll just be at a standstill.
Can we put those in two different buckets too? Because I'd like to see the salary survey that she came up with.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that'll give us more evidence.
I sent that out, and I didn't see it.
I do.
Yeah,
Okay, we
I have
should
it.
talk about.
Yeah,
Because I know that was.
Separate.
I think if we show we can get at least hire two new staff members. That's showing some community, we're making an effort. It's not 10, it's not 5. That's not gonna be a big strict thing on our budget. But I feel that it's making something towards citizens, that we're making an effort towards it. And we roll the dice, and hopefully the next year we get more money. So that's just how I feel.
So what's the proper procedure here? We make a motion to approve the budget with the addition of 2 members and administrative staff member.
however you would like to articulate it.
Okay, I guess I'll make the motion to approve 2 career members for the calendar year 2026 and administrative staff member.
And I second that.
Okay, full-time administrator stuff. So, okay, just start putting
Because we need, and then we need somebody to be trained for Heidi's position,
Sure.
so, yeah.
Understand.
So it's been motioned and seconded and,
What, was there, I'm sorry, was there a second?
yeah, that
You
was.
seconded, okay, all right. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll just make,
Can I just mention something?
please,
Mention.
get our data for
I
us.
will be coming back to you then for suggested cuts to our current budget and to pay for those 3 extra employees. Those will have to come out of our operating budget. And it will include training, facilities, maintenance, reserve, and health and safety in our operating program. I've been talking close to $300,000.
Yeah.
So that will be up to you to.
Okay, and we do know, based on what was put together and given to us last month, that we're gonna go negative in 2028 if we do that. I mean, that was one admin and 2 firefighters is that red line. You know, we're going negative. So, I recognize that the people in this room, all of the people in this room are cognizant and think about firefighters. And how many firefighters there are and how many trucks are running up and down the road. And I would tell you that it's my impression that most people in our district don't have any idea how many firefighters we have. They don't have any idea, and somebody shows up, even what agency they're from necessarily. But when they get their tax bill from the county assessor, that's the thing that they're gonna notice. That's the thing that almost 100% of the people are gonna notice and think about. And when we come back and say, our excess levy now has to be, instead of it taking us to $2 per thousand, now we're gonna be $2.25, $2.35 per thousand. So we're gonna have a significant increase. It's gonna be difficult for us to achieve in terms of voter support because 2 firefighters.
And I think most of those people that look at that levy thing and look at the chart, look at all the money going to the school districts. They don't even pay attention to what's going to the fire department.
All right.
Okay, you're 100% right, but at the end of the day, I think we need to be able to hang our hat on the fact that we made an effort to abide by what we promised the public and put rigs on the street and made those calls. And I think you're probably right, 90% of them don't care one way or another, they are gonna notice their tax bill until something happens at their house. And there's a rig that's unavailable to them, and something from a station home one or 04 is taking 25 minutes to get to their house.
All right, any other discussion on this topic? Okay. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
I,
All opposed? Nay. Okay, did you get that
I got it.
recorded?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody, for some good discussion. Thank you for the information. Okay, we're down to secretary's report
Do you
and,
want to finish with the salary?
survey.
oh, salary survey, excuse me. All right, so this is the information that Heidi got on comparables for.
Do we need to go that way?
They-
I want to go ahead.
oh, we
Yeah,
got plenty.
okay.
There's,
Two documents?
there's that one.
Does somebody else need one?
Heidi knows, whatever.
Here's.
Or they're not.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the last one that you got was
Key Peninsula.
keep an insulin, that's right. Yeah, put that one in there. Okay. So you know, it is what it is, you can take a look here.
And you'll notice that some of them are 2025, some are 2026, because several agencies were still negotiating and hadn't finished. Most of them were getting a cost of living increase, so, and I didn't include that.
Right, so we don't know what their changes are specifically.
And how many of these lists are our comparables that we use for the bargaining agreement?
They're all the ones that we use for.
Yeah.
Career.
Right.
So this is a huge department.
One of the things that, and Heidi, you can, fill in if I don't do it right here, but in terms of district secretary, really, we have a, unique position in the things that Heidi does. Many of these others have multiple people that are doing all of those things, right? So that's, per usual, there's some apples and some oranges in the bucket here, but it kind of gives you the range of what's there.
And all these below this, they've already, this is what they're making right now, the same as us, or they're getting raises and they're getting.
The ones that say 2025, they're going to go up. And I put that in,
Up.
brackets.
Oh, okay, I see now. I need to see that.
And some of them are getting longevity.
And yours is what you're currently thinking, what, yours is what you're currently thinking, which one?
Yeah.
Okay, how pressing is this issue? Is this something that we can take and absorb and have a discussion? And then address this one in the January meeting, or is this need to be finalized in 2020 calendar year 2025?
Well, any of the budget stuff, I mean, again, we don't have an obligation to establish a formal budget and that kind of thing, but, we probably would need to consider, if we took this into January and it wasn't effective until, say, February, whatever our decision was, that we would need to make sure that the payroll effect was like a back pay to January or, whatever months that we are down the road. That would be an appropriate thing to do if there is a change.
So when you say that longevity, 2% here, is that for however many years you worked? So if you've worked
And
50,
we don't have that, but that's what another agency has.
but
Yeah.
if they've worked 50 years, they get 2% on top of. for
Well,
every
hopefully
50
they're not
years.
working 50 years.
She's been here 50 years.
Well, these are scaled concepts, different departments will put in different. You've been here 5 years, maybe you get 2%. Been here 10 years, maybe you get 5%. If you've been here
On,
20
on
years.
top of this price.
Correct.
Different departments have different ways they do it.
That's-
Yeah.
Cause I've never experienced that, so that's what I'm asking. Okay. And this is what your current
Yes.
amount is right now.
Yes.
And so if we were to do the cost of living, which is what, 3% or 5?
2.7 is what
2.7.
we were asking for 5.
Okay.
For what Brian was asking for.
You're already getting the COLA. You're
Already
already
getting
getting
2.7.
increase to the COLA.
Yeah. It was 1.3. For
2.3. Is there anything else you want to do on this or?
I mean, I have to sit there and figure out numbers and see. How much more is 2.7% on 184,000. I mean, that's quite a bit.
Chief, you said that total increase was about $30,000 price tag for the increase on top of the COLA. I remember that being a number. So it's not too impactful to the seven.
15,000 total with benefits.
So it's, that is close to an extra, just the 2.7 is an extra $4,981 a year.
It was under 15,000 for the three of us.
Okay.
Out of a $7 million budget.
I'm good, then I'm willing to make a motion to increase the COLA.
To increase the COLA or give them extra?
So they already have the COLA come, so.
Yeah.
I'm okay with making a motion to approve the additional to the COLA for what they're asking for next year. Which is a total cost of about 15 grand.
So what's the extra amount? 2.7?
About 2.5%.
2.3% would bring it up to 5% total,
Okay.
what the request was.
Okay, So James made a motion to accept the 2.3% in addition to the COLA. Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Moved and seconded. Any other discussion on that? Any other questions on that?
How we do that based on? Performance. Percent from that. Don't when we do your performance review,
Mhm.
that's what we decided. There's, like, we decided this first and then.
This is a cost of living.
Right.
And he explained last time, the reason he's asking for a higher number is because of compression.
Compression between.
Too, I understand that.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
This is the first time that we've done, looked at all that one. Right? But you used to do it the other day, they go for COVID.
No, the COLA is,
So,
it's in the policy,
Right.
and that's in every year,
Right.
if there is cost of living.
and so really the discussion here or the issue is the compression of salaries
Going up. Okay.
based on the approved CBA.
Well, right now it's over what Heidi's saying. I'm doing 5%. Cause chief would be 9,000.
No, I said the 15 is the additional, amount,
It's the addition.
was the additional.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm figuring out what their price is now and adding 5% to it. Chief's is 9,225. It's not the
Ten
cheapest,
percent, the 2.3%.
the what?
Because the 2.7%
2.7%
is already in policy,
That's
right?
Okay,
We already give them that.
yes,
Yes,
but we're adding, so it's a total of 5% they're getting.
correct.
Yeah, so.
And what we're voting on is the difference between 5% and the 2.7.
Well, no matter what, when you do 5% on their total wage, it's a lot more money than $15,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the 2.3% is.
Is already
What we were
approximately-
talking about, that was.
Is about 15,000.
I just look at numbers differently than you guys. I look at the total numbers of what it is. And that, so if I take away the other thing.
Okay, all right, so we finished with discussion on that then?
Yeah.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, I think we have unanimous. Thank you for that. Okay. All right,
And so we have also then approved the budget, correct? We agreed on the budget.
No,
so we haven't agreed on the budget, we've agreed on the
Changes.
changes to staffing.
Okay.
Okay. Are we ready to move on then? We need to get through approval of minutes and warrants.
Which brings me to, the minutes and the warrants. I sent out November 12 and 20 and had no edits made to those, so.
Looking for a motion then to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the November 12th and 20th. That's such a good.
Okay, moved and seconded, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. On to warrants.
Are there any questions on the warrants?
Not this time.
I know it was counting.
I know, right?
Yeah, did you have anything? I had one to have a question on. Okay, nothing there. All right, so we're looking for a motion then to approve warrants as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants.
Okay, all right, moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.
I wanted to remind you all that we have, the Santa Run happening this Friday and Saturday. Friday is going to be, what area are you doing, Chief?
It'll be the, I think, Boston Harbor.
Boston Harbor,
North of the
and then-
area, yeah.
And then Saturday would be via Johnson
Johnson
Point
Point,
area.
right.
And then on Sunday, we're having a lunch here with Santa for all the members from noon to 2, and then at 2 to 5, Santa's gonna be available for the community. And, we encourage all of you guys to come to that lunch and you might even recognize Santa.
There's a good chance. After 73 years.
And the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that at the January meeting, we're going to, need to come up with our 2026 board position. So if anybody's interested in being the chair and vice chair next year, start thinking about that.
Chair, vice chair, and our representative to.
And the,
uh,
So, what's that meaning?
Yeah, it's the management.
legal,
Labor management.
labor management.
Yes.
And labor management,
So, yeah, those are,
which should be not a lot going on because the contract.
yeah. And the fourth one we have is our local board of volunteers committee. We have
Yes.
the chair of this committee tends that, but it may or may not be the chair of that. Doesn't happen.
Right. So we're doing that in January, so.
So we'll do that next month.
Full descriptions of positions to cut.
I'll send out a reminder on those things. And that's all I have.
Okay. We are down to any comments. Okay.
Well, I would say, thank you, Daryl, for doing that presentation. It helped me see things a little differently. And thank you for allowing him to present that to us.
Thank you to the staff for your attendance and
We're hanging in there.
hanging in there with us.
For me.
Right. Okay, any review? Yes, our follow-up actions. We will have some budget questions.
We will have a budget, expense budget proposal for our next meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So we'll meet again in 2026. At that time, I think that, well, Pam, you already did your swearing in. I suppose that takes the count of next year. Yeah.
Already sworn in.
She's already sworn, so yeah. So
Yeah.
that will be on the agenda for January 2 to be
Just where you at?
swearing in for me for the elected position.
I did it, even though they said the wrong district. Threw me off.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's yours.
I did not, I wasn't able to attend that. It was the.
Oh, you have a certificate though, right? Or was that yours?
That'll be-
Why did I think? yours?
Yeah.
I don't know, I took mine home, I didn't know anything about it.
No, there was one on my desk.
Interesting, maybe they mailed you his and didn't buy it yet,
Yeah, I
so that you can swear in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look on my desk. I think they sent it to me. It was on my desk. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, the county auditor had an opportunity on the 25th of November, right after the certification of the election results, to swear in folks, and I wasn't able to make that.
Maybe they think you were there.
Oh, well,
First, a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
Positions.
So what do they do? Like, do you have to go someplace else or does somebody here swear you in?
yeah, somebody, yeah, typically our secretary swears on, yeah. That's what I remember for.
And in the Republic.
And, that's.
Okay.
All right, with that, we'll adjourn our meeting and we'll see you on the, what is it, the 14th? Is that when Santa will be here?
Heidi, forgot to
There's
do
something, there's something.
stuff. I'm sorry, I said I forgot to bring that stuff. Probably in email. So I don't know if it's still worth it or I think it's still in. Sure.
I think it's good for Monday. So.